Hey everyone, welcome to the second part of Costco Stock Fundamental Analysis series. In the first part of the series, we have talked in detail about Costco's business model. How can Costco mark up their merchandise prices to a lowest possible extent but still be profitable for more than 3 decades? And what are all Costco's ancillary business? On top of it, we have also touched upon how the total number of warehouses and the paid members of Costco have grown over the period of time. In this second part of the series, we will discuss in detail about Costco's historical income statement. So throughout the series of doing a fundamental analysis, I will be using this application Apex KPI, which I have developed personally for myself to do fundamental analysis of any stock. So even before looking into the numbers, I would like to just give you what you can expect throughout this video. First thing, while doing an income statement, we will try to understand what is the revenue of the business. Second thing is margin. Of course, we will go over all the three margins, that is operational margin, gross margin, and net margin. And next one is segmentation. What I mean by segmentation is we know Costco is making a lot of revenue. From which part of the world is it making the revenue, and what are all the subsection is it making the revenue? And the fourth one is tax and expenses. Of course, we need to understand how the taxation works and how much tax the business is paying. And finally, we will try to understand the earnings per share of the business. Because in my opinion, these are the five simple informations or five informations which we would need to take away from the income statement of any business. With that, let's get started. While looking at the revenue, in my application, you can look at it in three different ways. Either in annual format, that is year over year, how the business, how much revenue the company made or the business made. Or the second thing is you can look on the quarterly basis, and the third one is trailing 12 month. In my opinion, I would always prefer to look at the trailing 12-month revenue. And second thing I would like to highlight is the range. The ranges, or in simple words, the time frame. You can look at the 3 years time frame, 5 years time frame, 10 years time frame, or the maximum time frame. But for this video, I will look at 10 years of historical data in a trailing 12-month basis. So even before looking into a chart, the quick snapshot is the latest revenue is $286 billion for the trailing 12 month ended in February of 2026. And compared to the previous trailing 12 month, the number are increased by 2%. And what I primarily look at is the CAGR. For the last 5 years, the revenue CAGR is 10.54%, and over the last 10 years, the CAGR is 9.01%. And for a business like Costco, which is in the retail space and not in any fancy tech or AI world, maintaining the CAGR at 9% over the last 10 years is a very big positive. This shows how consistent the business grows rather than not depending on any of a cyclical environment. And if you look at the chart over the last 10 years in the trailing 12 months, we don't even see even a single quarter where the revenue is getting stagnant or getting decreased. Historically, for the last 10 years on all the trailing 12-month basis, the Costco's revenue have grown consistently quarter over the quarter. And the second section which I would like to go to is the margins. Even in the margins, you can look at in two ways, either the annual margin or quarterly margin, but I always prefer to look at quarterly margin and again 10 years. Again, a quick snapshot before looking into the chart. Gross margin is 12.76% as of quarter 1 of 2026, and the operational margin is 3.74%, again as of the same time frame quarter 1 of 2026, and their net margin is at 2.92%. Again, I am going to look at the last 10 years of data on a quarterly basis. For instance, I'm just taking out operational margin and net margin from the equation, and I'm just going to see the gross margin. And the gross margin for Costco business for the last 10 years is consistently between 12 to 14%. And next thing, if you want to look at the operational margin, even the operational margin over the period of last 10 years is between somewhere between 3 to 5%. That is, from the gross margin, we are just taking out the SJ expense, but we will talk about the expense in detail in the upcoming sections. And finally, net margin. So technically, if you look at the net margin, again, it is hovering over between somewhere between 2 to 3.5%. And the next thing what I would like to understand in the income statement is segmentation. The what segmentation basically means is, yes, we have talked in detail in the revenue section. Costco has generated $286 billion in revenue. But Costco is not just a single business, as we have talked in the first part of video. So Costco generates revenue from multiple sources, and Costco have given what are all the different sources. I'm just going to show you this snapshot. This is directly from Costco's 10K report before we jump onto our application and seeing what segmentation is. And the first segmentation they have given is foods and sundries, which includes sundries, dry groceries, candies, cooler, freezer items. Even liquor and tobacco is included in food and sundries. And the second section which they have mentioned is non-food item, which basically includes all the appliances, electronics, hardware, lawns, and all the other items. Jewelry, even to a matter of fact, is included in non-food items. Then fresh food, this is basically the meat and the bakery section in Costco. Then next one, warehouse ancillary. This is basically the gasoline. The Costco's gas station is one of my favorite. Then it includes pharmacy, optical, food court, hearing aids, and tire installation. This section is considered as warehouse ancillary. And finally, other business, which is e-commerce, business centers, travel, and other. Now coming back into our application and see how much revenue each and every section has generated for. Foods and sundries, this is basically generating 40% of their total revenue. Then they have non-food items, which is at 25.9%. Then other section, which includes ancillary and the other business, as we have seen in this previous snapshot, which constitutes around 18.6% of the total revenue. Then the fourth section is fresh food, which contributed to 13.8% of the total revenue. And finally, the membership. This is the prime, the differentiator between Costco and other retailers, which is generating 1.9% of the total revenue. Next thing is geography, that is in which part of the world Costco is generating most of its revenue from. So as per the latest annual report or the latest data from the US, Costco is generating 72.7% of its revenue. Then from Canada, they are generating 13.4%. And even if you look at historical numbers, I'll just take out Canada and other international operations and just see US. In the year 2016, US have contributed to 72.9% of Costco's total sale. And even if you just scroll through, the number is historically in the same range between 72 to and 74%. And same with Canada. Canada is also around that 12 to 14% mark, and whereas the other international operation, which is approximately around 14% of the total mix. Then the next section, what I want to look at is expense and tax. So a quick snapshot here, cost of revenue or COGS for the most recent quarter is 87.2, and R&D expense is not applicable because technically Costco doesn't need any R&D. It is just in a warehouse business, so they don't do any R&D much. But still, I would like to have this information because most of my investment is in tech sector, so it will be helpful for me to see how much the other business are spending in R&D. And SGA expense, which is selling general and administrative, is 9.1 as of the most recent snapshot, but we will look at how historical number is. Then operational income, which we already see, and tax rate, which we would need a special attention later part of this section. So basically in Costco, expense is very simple. There is only two expense. One is the cost of revenue. Might be I will just take out this section. Cost of revenue, if you historically see, it is between 87 to 88%. This again correlates with what gross margin we have seen, because by just taking out the COGS or cost of revenue, we will get the gross margin. This again reiterates the same thing. And next one, SGA expense. This is what I would like to see here. I will just take out the COGS and just see SGA. The selling, general, and administrative has also stayed around somewhere between 9 to 10%. Over the period of time, as and when the revenue grows, the SGA expense haven't increased much or neither reduced much. So they are still maintaining at a consistent pace of 9 to 10% as SGA. And next, what I would like to show you is the tax history. How much tax the business have paid over the period of time. Not an absolute dollar amount, but the effective tax rate. Again, to be very clear, what I mean by effective tax rate is the tax paid by the business in that period, either in the quarter or the annual, divided with the total taxable income of the business. So now, if you see Costco's number, I am seeing it on an annual basis. Uh, it is from August 2011. In August 2011, if you see, it is at 35 percentage, and the number is same till 2017. From 2018, the number dropped, and it is around the 25 percentage. In the most recent year of August 2025, Costco paid 25 percentage of the taxable income as the tax to the government. And I would like you to just think through why the taxation rate was much higher, which is approximately 35 percentage pre 2018. And after 2018, what change have been done in the US taxation so that the taxation is at 25 percentage. And finally, the earnings per share or EPS and the total share. Because whatever income statement you read through, they end it with the earnings per share. So, in simple words, how the earnings per share or EPS is calculated, the net income over the period of time and divided with the total outstanding share. That's how we get the EPS. Might be the first thing we will just, rather than seeing the EPS, we will see the net income because this is going to be the numerator of this calculation. You see the net income is consistently increased for the period of time, and the outstanding share, this is going to be the denominator in our case. And even the outstanding share, unlike many of the tech companies, they do share buybacks. Costco is technically not doing or not spending much in share buyback. Rather than, if you see through this period, the total number of outstanding shares has increased. But again, from this period of August 2022 to the most recent quarter, it is hovering around the same region. In the last 10 years, if we just want to see, the total outstanding share was between somewhere around 440 million till 445 million, which is just hovering over between the 1% upwards. So now, by just dividing this net income with the total outstanding shares, we do get the EPS. EPS is the final metric which any investor or any analyst would like to understand from the income statement. So what we can tell a story from this EPS chart is, consistently the earnings per share number have been increased. Even though the outstanding share count have slightly increased over the last 10 years, that is not showing any impact on the EPS. EPS has been consistently grown, and as of the most recent quarter, which is Q1 of 2026, the EPS is standing at $19.26. So these are all the information I would like to get from any of the business income statement. You might be thinking we should also look at the P ratio, but P ratio I will cover in the fifth part of the series under valuation and metrics, because P ratio is one of the key valuation metrics, but on top of it, there is also other valuation metrics we would need to look at, like interest coverage, that we will do it in the final part of the series. So that's it from this part of video. In the next part of the video, we will go through the cash flow statement in detail and figure out what are all the informations which we can get out of it. If you found something interesting or you learned something new in this video, please consider liking and subscribe to my channel for the next part of video. Thank you and take care.